Hi, everyone. Welcome. Joyce Edison here and Dr. Gurpreet Kaur as part of the Wellbeing Intelligence curriculum faculty members. We're discussing well-being, and this is a very interactive conversation. We just want to share from our own perspectives what well-being is and really define the difference between wellness, the activities on that journey, and well-being, the state of arrival, the results of doing that, because many times our audience thinks that wellness activities should result in happiness and fulfillment, and so but you have to actually do them, and you have to plan them, and you have to have that vision of where you are, because many times people are doing things but they don't have a vision. So sometimes what I find, Gurpreet, and especially in your role as a someone who works in the area of psychology, when you look at people coming to you and talking about being unhappy, being unjoyful, is it possible that sometimes they don't have a vision of what that is? They haven't mapped out what happiness is. Is it just feeling, or is it more than that? Should we be looking at the concrete things? Because there are people who have a lot of great things in their life, yet they're not happy. They're not feeling
Yes.
fulfilled. They're not feeling joyful. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Joyce, when I first started working with individuals, we have to define goals. And most of the time when I ask them, so what are your goals for this coaching or counseling, therapy? And more often than not, what I hear is, I want to be happy. But what does that look like? What does that feel like? How do you know you are happy or you
Yes.
will be happy when you get there, when you
Yes.
are there? So we have to take then a step back to define it together. And just defining what happiness means for them in itself is very therapeutic, because that's when they really take the time to understand, well, what am I after? What do I really want? What's going to make me feel happy or feel joyful or content and satisfied, right? So, yes, it's you have to define what well-being is for you, what happiness is, whatever your goal is, but we have to define it. Otherwise, we don't know when we are there. We might have some illusionary moments here and there. We all, like, it's ups and downs in life, right? We will be happy, and then we will be sad and disappointed and angry as well, right? But if we have a definition to work from, we are able to bounce back to that vision much quicker than being lost of, what am I doing here? What am I after?
As I listen to you talk, and I know sometimes when I'm coaching individuals, they will say to me, I remember one client said to me, I can't remember being happy. I always wake up angry and upset. And I'm like, okay, what would you like to wake up feeling? Right. And she had to think about it, and she had, oh, right. And so that could happen because you have bad sleeping habits or you go to bed too late, right? So we have to come back and ask. And when we talk about well-being, and we talk about the definition of well-being being a state of being happy, contented, and fulfilled with your life, sometimes some people need to be pointed to the evidence that they are happy, that they do have things in their life, and they're not able, because perception is reality. And many times what we're perceiving is not necessarily the truth around us. And having a coach or therapist gives them that opportunity to question their thinking and to say, well, Do I have things to be grateful for? Do I have good things happening in my life? And I think sometimes people think that you cannot have well-being and have bad things happen in your life. Bad things will happen. It's part of life. But
Yep.
well-being is that fulfillment of knowing that you're doing the very best you can, that you are contented with your efforts that you're putting on, right? That you're happy with yourself, right? Who you are, and your gifting, and your ability to use those. So your purpose. It doesn't mean that you can have catastrophic things happen in your life and still experience a sense of well-being. You may have disappointment, you may have sadness, you may be unhappy about certain things, but still at the end, when you look at your whole life, you will recognize that, you know what, I do have a lot to be very happy and contented with. And contentment and happiness is something that our society struggles with because of social media and the media. We're always comparing ourselves to other people, comparing ourselves to all the things we see out there. And we forget that we need to come back and ask, who am I? What is my purpose? What was I put here to do? Am I doing it joyfully at the best of my ability? And what are where are the relationships in my life? How am I caring for my body? Am I resting? Am I practicing the habits and the tools? And do I have the skills of well-being? Do I need to learn new things to live a better life? And I think those are some of the thoughts that I think we need to ask people to expand on.
Absolutely. Yep. I totally agree. It's a journey. Being able to have that well-being state of mind, or being in that state, it's a journey. And we are going to have some disappointments and unpleasant moments. But if we have destination in mind, we are able to go through them with a lot more contentment and hope and optimism if we don't.
You know, that is so true, because, and I think that also helps our resilience.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what resilience is.
Yeah.
Right. It's being able to get up again and define your vision, or kind of adjust your navigation system because you lost it, right? But you only can set your navigation system back to the North Star if you know where you're going.
Exactly. You can't get up if you don't know where you were going in the first place. So it's important to have clarity and have that vision. And you know, one of the things that we're doing in the Wellbeing Challenge is challenging people every day to do one thing on that journey. Just one thing, right? One thing. Look for one area in your life that you can spend some time on today. Spend 10 or 15 minutes thinking about or doing something towards that you didn't do before, because humans have this innate capacity to just coast or just keep on the treadmill doing the same thing all the time,
or being on autopilot and not considering, why am I doing what am I doing?
Yes. Often forgetting, you know, I think we put the urgent above the important, right?
Yes.
We don't,
or just living from deadline to deadline.
Exactly. And not asking, is this important or is it urgent? And which do I make priority? Because urgency comes with a lot of anxiety and timelines, and we often jump to those, and the important things keep falling off the radar, and then we get to a place where we're unhappy.
Yes. Because you're taking the joy of experiencing what life is giving you, and we are just going off of conditioning. And conditioning is not experience.
That is so true. That is so true. You're right that, you know, about that conditioning piece, because we do what we think we should do, or what becomes apparent, and then really start